Rousseau, the year is 932 Dragon. That makes you 10 years old.
Yep.
You are growing up living in Kirkwall at this time. How far apart are you and your older brother, Corin? Remind me?
Corn will be 13.
Corin will be 13.
Yep.
All right. Your father is out of the picture, and your mother, Lyra, is kind of like, I guess, preparing something in the kitchen. And just tell me what a 10-year-old Rousseau would be doing in some random afternoon. Like, what do you see him doing to pass the time as he's waiting for supper?
I would imagine if it's like late in the day around supper, he'd pretty much like he'd be helping clean up around the house, and like if he got a little moment to himself, he'd pull out like a little sketchbook and like doodle some stuff they would have heard stories about.
Okay. You got your sketchbook, you're doodling, and then I'm gonna say that out from nowhere, this creature leaps out at you with like dripping with black blood from his jaw, and he just kind of goes towards your direction.
I'm immediately falling back and screaming.
You immediately fall back in screaming, and as soon as your back hits the floor, you hear some laughter as you hear your brother sort of pointing at you, and he just thinks the whole thing is hysterical. And basically, he like took some tar of some sort, and he just kind of wiped it down his face to make it look like black blood. And he said, "Ha ha ha! Rousseau, you should have seen your face."
Kind of a bad time, Corin. But I'll give it to you, it was kind of funny.
What are you doing anyway? He says as he sort of like takes a hold. I don't think he like snatches it, but he just kind of forcibly takes a hold of what you were sketching.
I was just drawing, Dad.
He sort of tilts his head a little bit, and he says, "Oh yeah," and then he sort of drops it onto your lap again.
Where did you even get the tar?
I got it outside. He said, "We found some. One of the merchants over there was selling it, and he dropped some on the ground. So a couple of us kids, we grabbed some of it."
Out of character, would this be during the blight of season 1?
Yes. This is during the blight. Yes.
Okay. Oh, you had me thinking you were Darkspawn.
Yeah, he said. I'm one of the Darkspawns. Let's play Grey Wardens and Darkspawns. I'm gonna be a ogre.
No fair, you got to be the ogre last time.
He says, "Okay, fine, what do you want to be?"
I'll be the warden.
Okay, fine. And then you can be the warden. And I'm gonna eat your griffin. Nom 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 nom. He goes over and swoops in, and he like grabs like, I'm gonna say he's gonna grab like a couch cushion or something. And then he's just gonna take it and he's just gonna start gnawing on the couch cushion. No, 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 no. No, you can't fly away without your precious griffin. No, 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 no.
Not the griffin.
I feel like Russo would grab like the closest thing to like a little stick and be like, "I will slay thee in the name of upholding order," and then go over and they'd start like play fighting.
All right, you start play fighting a little bit. Roll an attack roll.
Okay.
See if you can defeat his defense. First attack roll of the game.
I didn't brawling, so I'll just take the bonus off of that.
Don't kill
So
your
is that
brother.
a total of 12?
So that's a 12 with a 5-point stunt.
With a 5-point stunt. Yes.
Holy crap.
Nice. What do you do
I'd like
with
to
that 5-point stunt?
I'd like to think that I basically like saunter over to him, then basically do like an uppercut, and like swing him around into the couch.
Nice. Nice. You do that, and that's gonna take him by Corin by surprise. And he's gonna say, "Hey, that's not fair. Where'd you learn to do that?"
I've been practicing, Corin.
Practicing? On who? On what?
I mean, the other children that we play with.
And he sort of looks a little bit surprised by that. And then he'll take a swing at some point. Oh my goodness, a 6-point stunt. Okay.
Oh, no, it's a 4-point stunt,
4
but
points
it's
on last day, yeah.
Oh, the die is a 4-point stunt. Okay. So he's basically going to charge at you like an ogre, and he's sort of gonna like grab you around the waist. And again, he's 3 years older than you. He's gonna sort of like pick you up, and then he's sort of going to do is it called a suplex?
Okay,
Like,
he's gonna German
sort of-
suplex me over.
He's gonna German suplex you like onto like the couch cushions or something, like, and it's sort of like both of you like slam onto the ground. You'll take a hit. You'll take a point of damage. 1 point of damage from that.
Okay! I underestimated you, Olga.
And I'm gonna say that you're gonna continue like playing around, and your mother's gonna walk in and she says, "What are you boys doing? What's going on in here? You're making a mess."
At that point, Russo would look a little embarrassed and just kind of turn his head down, playing dog spawn and Grey Wardens.
And says, boys, we're in the middle of a blight and you're making a game out of it? This is... Your brother, Corin, will say, "Oh, Mom," just says, "we're in the middle of a blight, so we're just trying to become Grey Wardens." "You do not want to become a Grey Warden, trust me," she says. "Grey Wardens have a death wish."
Would it be okay if we just called it something else, Mother?
Your mother is about to say something when you all start smelling something burning, and she turns around and says, "Just at least take it outside, boys. Don't mess up the living room." And she'll run back into the kitchen to stop whatever it is burning. "All right, come on, brother, let's go."
Alright,
Corin says.
I'll pick up like my stick and follow him real proud like.
All right. You're going to make your way outside, and I think you guys are going to start, you're going to finish roughhousing, you're going to finish playing, and I'm going to say during this time, you and your brother are just like sitting around, you're like still sweating a little bit because, of playing around, and I think Corin's going to ask, "So, you think about Dad a lot?"
Yeah, I do.
Why do you think he left?
I'm worried it might have been me.
Corin sort of looks at you, and he kind of gives you this look as if he wants to say something, but he stops himself from saying something. And then he asks, "Why do you think he left because of you?"
I don't know, he was just... Whenever we played together, hung out, he just didn't seem genuine towards me.
He's gonna nod a little bit at you, and then he's then gonna say, "Where do you think he went?"
I really don't know, but I'd like to think he's close by.
What do you suppose he's doing right now? Do you think he's gonna come back?
I mean, I hope he does, but given what's outside the city, I don't know.
If he does, would you say you were sorry?
He'll just kind of slowly crook his head towards him. Not really like teared up, but his face just kind of softened with a little bit of shape. Yeah, I would.
There's gonna be like this awkward pause, and then he changes the subject and he says, So you know Mom's birthday's tomorrow.
Yeah. What are you getting her?
He says, I got an idea. Come on, he says. We have some time before supper.
At that point, he'll kind of perkin up and like hop up off the steps and start chasing after.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna actually skip around and go to Pasha. Pasha. So, it is, again, 9:32 Dragon. You also are in Kirkwall. So, this is the reason why you're in Kirkwall. The Arashok is there because he is secretly, unbeknownst to you, he has a mission, a very specific mission in Kirkwall. Unbeknownst to you, that mission is somebody stole a very important book, the Tome of Coslin, and he is very, very upset by this, and so he and several other Kunari have gone to Kirkwall in order to determine who the thief is, hunt the thief down, punish the thief, and bring the tome back. Again, this is all information that Pasha is not aware of. Now, knowing that Pasha has been antsy about leaving Parvalin, specifically to seek out Dandelion, among other things, Salit, one of your comrades, managed to convince the Arashok to let both him and you tag along to help out with this excursion and to join them on this mission. And so you've been in Kirkwall for a good bit of time, I would say. And while you're in Kirkwall, you did not realize, I don't even think the Arashok himself realized, that a blight had begun. And so there's been a lot, of course, going on in the city about what's been going on in Ferelden and how the blight is spreading and yada yada yada. And Salit, for those of you who do not know, is an elf. And he's actually a relatively outgoing, talkative elf. He doesn't have like the stoic personality that some people might be used to from Kunari or the people of the Kunari religion. He is sort of like a spy, and therefore he needs to blend in very well. And so him having a personality where he can sort of like act like anyone that he needs to be sort of has been very helpful. So I'm going to say that you and Salit are sort of hanging out at the moment. It's like later in the day, and I think Salit is probably chewing on some sort of a fruit of some sort. He breaks you off a piece and then he offers it to you.
Pasha takes it and she's eating it, and she kind of looks him up and down in a very motherly way, and she just kind of says, "Are you warm enough? Do I need to get you a scarf, dear?"
he sort of laughs and he says, "Scarf. Scarf would be kind of nice, actually. I would like that a lot. Maybe something with brighter colors. I was thinking if you knitted me something really nice, we might be able to go to this ball that apparently the Viscount Kane is throwing tonight."
Oh.
He says he holds up a flyer.
She takes hold of it and is like, "Ugh, you know I'm not a fan of these kind of things. You'd be so much better at that, dear."
I suppose you're right. I was thinking, though, that the Arashok might give me permission to infiltrate and spy on what's going on with the Viscount by attending said ball, and I might need a date if I were to go.
Well, if it doesn't embarrass you bringing your Tamazaran to a party, then I never could say no to you. And she...
He chuckles. The question there, though, is, and don't take this the wrong way, I mean no offense when they say this, and I ask this question, it's a very serious question. Pasha, how well do you think you'd honestly be able to blend in at this ball?
She just kind of looks down at herself and kind of... I think you already know the answer to that, my dear.
I'm not talking about visually. I'm sure we can find a way that we can dress you up so that you could look the part. I'm more of... When you're... How should I put this? When you speak to people and talk to people, especially people that are very high-class aristocratic in these parts, you know...
I can be charming when I want to be, as long as they're not a complete idiot.
Okay, well, you see, that's the thing. I have walked amongst the people of this city for quite some time, and I have to warn you, there's an awful lot of idiots here.
Well, then they need to build up thicker skins. How else will they do that if they don't have someone pointing out their idiocy? They'll just continue being idiots for the rest of their days.
Yeah, well, yes, you have a point. I get it. But, I'm just saying, maybe if we do go, and I say this with the utmost amount of respect and regard, maybe I should do most of the talking. With the idiots. With the idiots, at least. You can talk to the smart people, of which, there aren't very many, but I'm sure we'll find someone, hopefully.
If you are dealing with the idiots, then I guess I could try and hold my tongue.
Well, perfect. He gets up. Step into my office, he says. And he says, allow me to show you my array of disguises. And he's gonna go over to, this building, which is where he's been living all this time. So the thing is, nobody knows that he's with the Arishok. He is an elf, but he has managed to, again, he's a spy master, so he has managed to be able to, pin his ears in such a way and sort of molded, he has a disguise, so he can make himself look human if he wants to, and he's actually been very good at it. This is what he does. It's been very convincing. So, he basically takes you and he shows you, this array of costumes and clothes that he has, from the little peddler on the street to even a street urchin of some sort. But then there's also some of the finer clothing, and then there appears to be 2 dresses there as well, very nice looking gowns, not super Orlesian, for example, but still nice. One is in a dark, forest green with a few ruffles, and I think another one is a deep purple.
Ooh.
And maybe, and so he sort of points them out to you, and he says, I think these 2 might just fit you. Do either of them catch your eye by any chance?
Salit, my dear, you know me so well. And she goes over to the purple one, and again, because I'm imagining, it'll sound stupid, the dress that Morrigan wears.
Okay.
In the ball.
Yes, I can see
not that ornate, but does it have a corseted
Sure.
bodice? She's kind of she's put I don't know how women here breathe. I guess if I'm holding my tongue, I might as well hold my breath.
Yes.
He says, I'm sorry, he said that it is a little snug, but it was fitted for me, so.
And
I don't know if you react to the fact that these dresses are actually originally for him. I don't know if you react to that.
She actually kind of goes to grab his hand or something, and she kind of holds up the dress and says, yes, this would suit you quite nicely.
He said, well, thank you. He says, This is one of the outfits that I wore when I was playing the wife of an aristocrat during one of my missions.
I don't believe you've ever told me about that one. You must do sometimes, dear. Sometime.
Oh, he said, yes, the Orlesian accent was very difficult to pull off. But like I said, this town is full of idiots. They basically are so stupid and are so unperceptive, they could probably fall on the ground and miss.
Can we just call the city of Kirkle just the city of idiots, just because it sounds like... Here, you will find the most well-known idiots in the entire continent.
I mean, they picked Kane, so...
True.
Yeah.
True.
Alright, so the last thing is, what should we do with your hair? And he's sort of like picking at it a little bit.
What's wrong with having it down? It's simple. I keep it out of my eyes.
I know, but this is a ball, and they're looking for a specific caliber of people. There is a dress code, and part of that does include the hairstyle too. So I was thinking maybe if we could tease it a little bit, or at least pin it up or something.
She kind of she begins kind of like scrunching it kind of backwards, and I don't suppose he has any ribbons. Just kind of.
Yeah, he does.
So she's gonna grab a couple of ribbons and she's gonna kind of scrunch it back to their ribbon there, scrunch it down into like a bit of a ponytail, another ribbon, kind of at the end, and then she's like, I'd put some jewelry or whatever those people call the things in there. It'll do.
Yes, I think that would actually work. And he starts puts a little bit of like a sequined hairpin of some sort. And then he sort of kind of just does a little bit of a perfect. I don't even recognize you, Pasha. You look beautiful, gorgeous.
Flatterer.
He gives you a grin as if he just made a very, very clever joke.
Whatever it was, it went completely over Pasha's head.
What was his name? Sully? I want to make
Sully.
friends with him.
Sully. I think we're ready, he says. So, one more thing before we go. How's your dancing?
Salit, I think you can probably guess I've never danced a goddamn day in my life.
All right. We're going to do a very simple 3-step waltz.
I don't know what any of those words mean.
Okay. So, Pasha, when a boy meets a girl,
I know
and they
about
like each other very much. Okay. I was trying to say that they're courtship, and part of courtship could be dancing, and it's a form of expression. But okay, we'll skip that part. About just place one hand here and one hand here, and just glide 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You okay? It's really easy. You can count to 3, right? It's just.
Of course I can. Excuse me.
Yes.
I raised you. I taught you to count.
Okay. Well, okay. I'm just making sure. So, roll out of character. Go ahead and roll a dexterity roll, please.
Okay, I think.
Focus on dance. If you have that focus, you probably don't.
Can we just
Hey, listen, I can only count in Q, not in...
Can we just like...
That's a 13, I think.
Okay.
Oh, am I adding the plus 3?
Yes, that's a...
That's a 16.
So what were you about to ask something? Was somebody asking?
No, I was gonna say the joke. Can we just like put the tag up, like just Pasha the warrior dancer, just for this entire line?
The dance here.
So yeah, you actually surprisingly pick it up pretty well, and which surprises even Salit. Wow, you had a bit of a rocky start, but it looks like you picked it up afterwards.
This isn't quite so bad.
How does it feel?
Quite nice. Maybe these people do come up with some interesting little. You called it courtship.
Yes, courtship. It's dances is one of the oldest forms of courtship back in the day. These customs, I know, but in my line of work, you learn a lot of supposedly useless talents that end up being useful every once in a while. So,
Well, if I ever need to dance again, then I will think of you, Sleet. My dear boy.
all right, shall we then? As he holds out his shoulder.
She links his arm. Indeed.
All right, and you will make your way off to the ball. So, okay, Tirin. We are moving forward again through time. It is 938 Dragon. This is 6 years later. You are 10 years old, Tirin. Right now, you are with your master, Master Marin, and you are traveling just outside of Tevinter. Okay? You're sort of like in this grand cart-drawn horse, I would say horse-drawn carriage of some sort. And I'm going to say that your master is like looking out the window, and he's got this like cane in front of him that he's holding in between his legs. And what do you do to pass the time, I guess?
I am mostly I am keeping my head bowed since there is a master in my presence. I'm playing with my finger, just going like kind of just lazily about playing my fingers, waiting for whatever we're going towards.
Okay. I'm assuming you didn't ask any questions about where you're going. He
Nope.
just needed you to. Okay,
Nope.
that's fine. He doesn't give you any answers.
Yeah.
But your master, Amarin, I'll throw up a image for everybody else. Lord Amarin Forfex. So
Damn.
he sort of kind of got a Lucius Malfoy kind of thing going on.
I was gonna say the joke of he looks like what would happen if Sephiroth got the Dragon Age treatment.
Right. I guess, yeah. Sort of like Sephiroth, Lucius Malfoy. But the way that he speaks, so the way that he talks, I sort of have this, have everybody watched Shrek?
Yeah.
I sort of has this Lord Farquaad, like type of voice. Run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. That kind of. That's your master. You monster. But anyway.
Welcome to Lock Such a...
Yes, exactly. So, think Lord. Yes. Sephiroth, Lucius Malfoy with the voice of Lord Farquaad. So he's not short. So I'm gonna say that your master can be a little bit whiny sometimes, and he basically says, Tirin, I'm bored. Entertain me, Tirin.
How, sir?
How surprise me? If I were to tell you, it wouldn't be. It would. I think that the elements of surprise is very entertaining, unexpected.
Tirin kind of just slowly kind of nods. I will try, master. And he kind of just thinks for a bit. Does he have anything that might Tirin have on him at this age? If possible.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, again, you're 10 years old,
Yeah.
so
Ooh.
this fully grown man wants a 10-year-old to entertain.
Yeah,
him, so-
entertain him. So I'm actually going to. So I don't know if I might have maybe some wooden
Sure.
short small. They look like throwing knives, but they're more made of wood and they're not
Okay.
practically harmless. And then grabs kind of
Yeah.
two of them and he starts trying to juggle them a bit.
Okay, roll a dexterity, please.
Just straight
With a
dexterity.
focus. Yeah, I guess if you have a focus on.
Unfortunately, not have light blades. This is just straight
Okay.
dexterity. But I am a rogue, so I might have some. Oh no, nope. 8 with the roll at
Okay.
some point. So clearly,
All right.
I clearly like throwing up in the air, and I fumble, and they both like one of them might fell on the master by accident, and the other one just goes, "Oh!" Kind of.
Well, that was disappointing, he says, looking at.
My apologies, sir.
He looks slightly annoyed by this. Do you have anything else to entertain me with?
Not that I have. No, sir. My apologies. I am more of, as you know, a laborer than entertainer.
He kind of nods a little bit, and then he's just gonna look outside and trying to see if there's something a little bit more interesting outside.
Tirin is if it was the carriage, he would be like a bit away from the master, and he's like constantly staring at the whip that is by his side, just like, please not the whip, please not again, kind of whispering under his breath.
Yeah. You're in a carriage, so even if you wanted to, it'd be kind of difficult to do that from inside the carriage. Maybe afterwards, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And he's sort of like pauses for a moment and says, "Tirin, for how long have you been serving me? How long has it been?"
I was born 10 years ago, so that would be 5 years working for you. I started when I was 5.
5. Yes. And have you been satisfied with your work over these last few years? Have you been grateful for everything that we provided you ever since? He says, looking towards your direction.
He kind of shies away a bit, and he goes, "Oh, I want to. Is it alright? Can I make a willpower on this? Because Tirin is, as he says that, I don't know if he might break away in tears or try to like say yes. Unless you want me to make a lie, because he would lie.
Yeah.
He says, "Yes, sir."
If that is a lie,
It's a lie. It is a lie.
Then I will need you to do. Yeah, I will need to roll for that.
10 with some points.
Yeah, I think it's deception. So
Yeah,
correct.
That's deception. So it's
When you say that, he, without skipping a beat, he looks right towards your direction. I don't know if you're avoiding his eyes, if you're looking right into his eyes.
I'm avoiding his eyes. I'm like,
he says, "Tirin, you're a good boy, right?"
Yeah.
Answer the question, boy. You're a good boy, yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, master.
Master.
And good boys don't lie, right?
Yes, master.
Good boys don't deceive their masters, correct?
Yes, master.
And what happens to the bad boys, Tirin? What happens if they disobey or deceive their masters?
I do not know, master.
Oh, you don't know? Do you want me to teach you? Perhaps I'll have some entertainment after all, he says with a grin.
Looks, he kind of, someone looks at the master for a bit, then he kind of turns his eyes, and he kind of crawls up, like, huddled up into the corner of the carriage, just like, and tears start kind of flowing down a bit. Not the whip again, not the whip again, not the whip again, not the whip again.
Did you say something? Did you say something, Tirin? Were you responding to my queries?
No, sir.
Do you have something smart to say? Are you
No.
a smart boy, Tirin?
Kind of stops for a bit. Maybe.
Maybe. Why do you say maybe?
I do not know. I do not know if I am properly smart, sir. Master. I am just a mere humble servant, that is all.
You're shaking. Why are you shaking? You're not afraid of me, are you?
He kind of stops for a bit, and he kind of continues on, kind of rocking back and forth. He doesn't answer. She doesn't answer him.
Tirin. He takes his very long fingers, hand, and he sort of like places it on your shoulder. You might jump a little bit as he places it onto you, and he goes, shh, oh my dear boy, and he's sort of like rubbing your shoulder a little bit. Normally this would be a very soothing like motion, but right now it just feels kind of wrong and quite frankly creepy that he's sort of like stroking your back like this. My dear Tirin, shh. There's nothing to be afraid of. You're well protected. After all we've done for you, we've clothed you, we've placed food on your table. Food! Delicious food, nutritious food. For any fine young man like yourself. A roof over your head. You're well taken care of. You can't imagine what life would be like without us. Isn't that right?
I kind of go. I much prefer with my family. With my father who's gone.
At that, he kind of clenches his hand. His nails kind of dig deep into your skin. And he says, "What did you say, Tirin?"
I much prefer with my family. He kind of shouts out a bit.
He sort of like forcibly grabs hold of your wrist, and he sort of like holds it very, very forcibly, and then he kind of pulls you towards him, right into his face, and he just looks you right into the eye, very, very closely, and you can smell like his breath is not the most pleasant thing in the world. He just leans in towards you and he looks at you and he says, "Look at me, Tirin. Do you see these eyes? Do you see this face?
Yes, sir. Yes, master.
I am the only reason that you survive to this day. I am your salvation, your Lord, and I am the only thing in life that you need." Yes? Nod yes. There you go. There you go. Family is one thing. It's important. Yes, family's very important. But I am your Lord and your Master. And I should be, above all things, the one that you should be grateful for. Do I make myself clear? Good. He'll let go, and there's still like marks on your arm.
I put my hand like kind of close.
He looks out the window and he says, "Wipe those tears, Tirin. We've arrived." And with that, I'm going to shift over to, I think, the last person, Sam. Sam, are you ready?
Oh, I hope. We'll see.
I almost cried a tear there, I think.
Okay.
Woo for childhood trauma!
Sam, it is, again, 9:38. You are 7 years old. And we are with your parents, your mommy and your daddy, Clara Faust and David Faust. You guys are also traveling just outside of Navarra. And your parents tell you that the reason that you have traveled so far, this is quite a ways, is because Your dad is meeting an old patient of his, and his services was required. So they have to travel in order to meet up so that he can meet with his patient. And so they're in sort of like not a carriage, but more like a horse-drawn cart of some sort. And your mother is the one that's actually driving. I don't know if it's the right word, but she's sort of like driving the cart. And your dad is right next to her, and you're in the back, I would say. What do you think that little 7-year-old Leon would be doing to pass the time on this cart?
Probably zipping around, looking at everything in the cart, just sort of being a little rascal, mediumly tearing things up.
Tearing things up in the cart? Okay.
You know, he's a bored child, and he's gotta entertain himself somehow.
Your dad, David, turns around and he says, "Leon, what are you doing back there? Are you making a mess?"
I'm studying how things decompose under exorbitant pressure.
He kind of chuckles a little bit, and he says, "Whatever do you mean? What exactly are you destroying or ripping up at the moment?" Out of character.
He holds a leaf, and then he like a piece of paper.
And have you been able to come to some sort of conclusion with your studies?
He just keeps ripping more leaves. It smells different, and there's a little green goo, and his hands are like covered in like green, like chlorophyll just everywhere.
He smiles at you, and he says, "May I take a look?" As he holds out his hand.
Yeah, just like sticky child hands.
He takes a hold of it. He smiles and he takes a sniff. "You know, Leon, I think you might be onto something," he says, as he hands it to you. He kind of takes his hand and he sort of like messes with your hair. And he says, "Are you a good boy, Leon? You're a good boy, right?"
Yeah.
He smiles a little bit. Your dad is a little bit more of a, I guess he's more of a lighthearted person. Your mom is the serious one in the family. She kind of has the pants in the relationship to that effect. And you can hear her kind of, you can sense her kind of rolling her eyes, even though you're not seeing her eyes right now. And she says, goodness. I never thought that as soon as we had one child, I would inadvertently have a second child immediately after."
Oh, am I going to have a sibling?
"Oh God, I hope not." And at this point, David sort of like kneels closer to his wife, and he says, "Really, Clara? You don't want to have another child? Maybe a daughter this time. Maybe a female version of Leon." And she says, Nope. If you want to have another child, David, then you can bear it this time. And I will watch and laugh hysterically when you find out exactly how it feels." And he says, "Oh, well, we can certainly try. I just don't think it's gonna play out quite the way that you think it might play out if we do try, though." And with that, he says, "Yes, that's true. Maybe we can adopt," he says. "Adopt?" she says. "Where are we going to adopt another child? Not around where we live." "Well, I don't know," he says. Maybe when we're into winter, there might be some sort of, orphanage of something."
Can I pick? No.
Oh goodness, Leon, it's a sibling, not a puppy.
But then we can run around and we can look at the animals and then we could poke things with a stick.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, please, Clara, please. Can we please have another child, please? Why are we having this conversation now? She says, "We are in the middle of nowhere, looking for a friend of yours who I don't even know is even going to show up." "Oh, he's going to show up. Trust me." "I don't know. You haven't spoken to this person in how long, David?" It's been several years." I know, she says. "I just don't like the idea that we're uprooting our entire family to go on this excursion." And David says, "Well, you have a point there. Maybe we should have just left Leon behind. I'm sure that the house would be in perfect order, while we were gone for a few days. Right, Leon? You would have been a good boy, right?"
I can be raised by wolves, like the one guy in one book. A woo!
A woo? Is that what the sound the wolves make? A woo?
Ooh! He's trying his best.
At that point, even your mom can't help but, laugh a little bit under her breath. "Was that a laugh?" David says. "No," she says. "There's something stuck in my throat. I think one of those broken leaves, fragments of those leaves must have gone up my nostrils or something." I think it was a laugh. What do you think, Leon?
He looks at his hands and at the mom. Both! And he just puts his hands around her face. So now there's a green smudge on her face.
Leon just says, "What are we going to do with you? You are such a handful."
Leaves!
David's gonna say, "Clara, he's 7 years old." "I know he's 7 years old, but he just... There are things that our son needs to know about the world, and he is learning about the world. He's learning about chloro something, right? Right, Leon?
Chlorophyll! And then...
That thing. Chlorophyll. What a fine imagination you have," he says as he's patting onto Leon's head. "You go play with your chlorophyll."
He just licks his hand, and now his tongue's all green.
At this point, I'm gonna say that the horse-drawn cart starts to pick up a little bit of speed, and you see in the distance what seems to be a very extravagant-looking carriage pulled by some horses, fine white horses, and the carriage is a very fancy schmancy looking black carriage with sort of silver trimmings on it. And I think Clara is going to turn towards David and say, Is that them?" "I think so. Yes. Let's pull up." And you guys will make your way over towards the carriage and sort of park your cart. The carriage will park as well. And out from the carriage will step out first this young 10-year-old elf, Tirin. And I'm assuming little Tirin is going to come out so he can open the door and hold the door open for his master.
I open up the door, and I just kind of bow, kneel down as my master comes out.
It's okay. So you're noticing this, Leon, and out steps out this man with very long, white, blonde hair, platinum blonde hair, and he has a bit of a cane, like I said, and he will, as soon as he steps out, he sort of holds out his hands, and his entire demeanor has completely changed from how it was in the cart with you, Tirin. And he says, David Faust. It's been years." David will jump out of his cart and he says, "Amarin, yes, it's been a long time. Look at you. You're so expensive." Always the good sense of humor. "Oh, and you must be your Kara?" "It's Clara." "Clara. and he will walk over to her and sort of like grab a hold of her hand and sort of give it like a little bit of a kiss, like kisses her hand. She doesn't seem impressed, but she's polite. She says, "Oh, thank you. I'm not used to such customs." He says, "I'm sorry, but it is a gesture that I've been raised with. Well, we have much that needs to be done, much business to attend to. If we could have a little bit of privacy, that would be wonderful." And the person who, the coachman, I guess, who was drawing the cart of the expensive-looking man's carriage, he kind of steps off, and he's seems to be like feeding, tending to the horses. And the Lucius Malfoy-looking guy looks towards the coachman, and he says, "You'll keep an eye on things, yes?" And the coachman will nod. He will basically have you guys step into the carriage. It is a rather massive carriage. Like, we're talking almost like a small RV-sized carriage. And so both of Leon's parents will go inside, followed by Amarin. And Tirin is going to be taken to... I think he's going to be taken over to some sort of tree of some sort by the coachman. And the coach... And you have like shackles.
Yeah.
And like on your ankle or something. And he'll basically take the shackles and he will attach it to some sort of metal loop, and he'll just kind of start using a hammer and pike it onto the tree. And Clara is about to step off of the cart, she's going to turn to Leon and she'll say, "Leon, you behave, okay?"
I always behave.
Good. She says, "We're not going to be too long, so just keep playing with your chlorophyll, and we'll be right back."
Ding.
The couple goes into the carriage, and after the coachman finishes feeding the horses, it's probably going to take like 5 minutes for him to finish the horses. He's actually going to go deeper into the woods, presumably to take a leak or something. And he will leaving both Tirin and Leon alone with each other. What happens?
Well, this manacled child is way more interesting than some random old leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do?
So
You're not chained to anything, Leon. What do you do?
So he's gonna slowly approach this kid and be like, "Hi, I'm Leon."
The young boy kind of just looks at you, but kind of looks down the floor again, or the grass, and kind of goes, "Tirin." He kind of nods.
"Hi, Tirin. What's this?" He sort of like nudges the manacles.
Kind of looks at us as shackles, but to keep me chained here to not run away.
Oh, I hope my parents don't use that. I run around all the time.
Do they care for you? Do they like you?
I guess. Doesn't everyone care about you?
Kind of looks down and kind of a bit somber. Kind of looks over at the carriage. The carriage's still there, right?
Yeah,
looks
it's still there.
Not everyone. No,
Oh,
not him.
oh, I'm sorry. He sort of sees that you're looking down at the ground. Is there?
Kind of looks up at you. Do not worry, I am just a slave. I'm just a child slave here.
I should also point out, Leon, I'm going to say that you probably have never seen an elf before.
Elven child.
Elven, yes. And so I'm sure you might have heard stories about them, but this is your first time really noticing the ears up this close, just as an FYI.
Alright. he doesn't really know too much about personal space, so he's just gonna go up and be like, what's this? And he's gonna start playing with your pointy
just
ear.
got does like kind of a small force, not push you away, just like push the arm away. Ears? Have you not seen ears before?
Not pointy ears. He starts playing with his own ear. It's very round.
Well, I'm an elf. What
Elf?
else? Elf. It's a race of sorts, I think. You know, if your parents are human, you look
Yeah.
human. So
I heard elves live in the forest. Do you know anything about leaves? He pulls up more leaves.
he kind of looks at those two leaves, and he looks at them at almost awe. Yeah, a bit of sadness, and he kind of goes, "I've not seen much leaves. No, I've lived in a home, not in the forest. Never."
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mm,
I live in the forest, and all I see is leaves. Your cart's very shiny.
it's not my cart. It's the master's cart.
Well, technically, my cart's not my cart either. It's my parents'. Is it sort of like that?
Kind of looks over at their cart and he goes, "Similar, but my master's is much more rich, I guess you can say. Good looking, I think."
Leon, I think the next thing you now notice is on Tirin's arm there is what appears to be a purplish bruise, as if somebody had grabbed him very forcibly. And in addition to that, I'm going to say that Tirin also has other markings on him besides just that bruise. It just so happens that that's probably the freshest mark. What other marks can be seen on your body right now?
So arms, I can see a lot of like what seems to be like single line scars that kind of riddle up from the arms. So I believe he's still wearing he's wearing basic cloth and some simple pants. But there seems to be tucked under the shirt. There's some bandages that can be seen just near the neck area over there. But nothing has been down on the face. It's just on the arms. It seems, and maybe under the cloth shirt.
It looks like you've been through a painful encounter. I've seen my dad mix some leaves together. Do you want to try that?
Kind of looks at you, says, "Well, sure." If it kind of looks at his arm, help with this. If we find the right herbs, we could, I don't know, make something to help this out. Kind of points at the purple grasped scar.
Leon quickly runs into the cart. You see his legs are dangling outside of the cart as his head and arms are digging through some stuff. And he pulls out a satchel with a poultice and a mortal and pestle, and comes running back. Let's try this. And he just sort of throws in random leaves.
Yeah. I just kind of grab some and I go, I'm not, I might. And I start trying to remember all right, what did my mother use to help these wounds? And I start just try out a few of the leaves, maybe mix some together and try to put the leaves on the scar or the purple scar.
Leon's trying to help, but he's very messy.
So whoever is leading this would have to make some sort of healer's check. Healing
cunning roll.
Cunning roll.
Apparently I have high cunning, so here goes nothing. That's a 12.
Hey.
Yeah, that's good.
That's passable.
So you're able to apply is it to the fresh?
Yeah, the fresh bruise.
Okay, you will, and it does seem to return back to a more natural color.
That's much better. Thank you. Those herbs was that elf fruit?
I don't know. He just sort of holds up different plants. This one?
I think so. Yes. I've only was told how they work, but they can help with this kind of stuff.
Oh.
Thank you, though. Wow. And he looks almost, and he finally, like, you always saw Tirin, like, always sad. Now he smiles a bit.
Yeah, you did a real good job there. You could be a doctor.
Kind of chuckles a bit, maybe. If only, well, I'm not never going to be maybe unless I get freed or whatever.
My parents always say that you can be whatever you want to be.
That is true, but not to my kind.
But I heard of elves living in the forest. Do they not do that anymore?
Well, from where I come from, not really, no. They're used as we're called servants. We help the master do what the master wishes for us. And we do our best to accomplish it. If we do not accomplish it, well, the master will treat us however he feels like. Punishment or not, depending. That's where I came from anyway. Maybe what you just heard were tales and stories, I think. I don't know. At least you have a family, though.
Can't you run away?
I look at my shackles and look at you back. Go. I've tried for a bit. Kind of gave up on it, though. I felt that I need to learn a bit more. I'm just me. I barely have anything, as you can see. Kind of shows. How old are you?
7.
10. And my master and your parents have much more. Probably. A lot more.
They're like ancient.
That's a good word, I have to say. A pleasant one. Hopefully they did not hear us from here. It's... yeah. I feel like I want to grow a bit more before I finally can, find a way out.
Well, you can always come back to the forest. I'm sure we can find more elves. Do they all have pointy ears?
Yes, all of us do. Just don't know if they're civilized or not, I guess you can say. Maybe. I know there's some though. Like us, we can talk, we can, they won't hurt us when they see us,
Oh, like wolves. Woo!
That's not how you say, that's not how wolves scream, or screech, or... Wait, no, it's howl. You confuse me, boy.
Well, I do that a lot. And he still has, like, really green hands.
What have you been doing with your hands? Do you love leaves that much?
There's nothing to do in a cart, so you just gotta rip them up.
Come on. I just raise an eyebrow and say, are all of your kind that... free?
I don't know about my kind, but here's some leaves. Try ripping them.
I'll just take a single leaf and I just, for the entertaining, I'll just like rip it up and I kind of go look at it and say, it's just leaves.
Yeah, but it smells different, doesn't it?
I guess you can say that, yeah, but... Are you that bored easily?
I mean, usually I just run around in circles. And go pew pew.
I kind of laugh a bit, like a chuckle. I kind of just like put the leaves back in his hand and I go, you might have actually something better than me.
Well, you've got those. You've got that fancy cart.
Yeah, but I'm not really fancy, as you can see, and you can see like torn up like clothes and these scars on the arms. I haven't lived a fancy life. I don't know why your parents are talking to him anyway. What are your parents even?
Well, my mom's got a big old sword and she stabs things a bunch, and then my dad just sort of heals people.
Heals in what way? Medical?
Well, sometimes he's got like glowy hands, but mostly he just uses leaves.
Huh. While talking to the master, then.
Well, apparently he was an old patient of my dad. I don't know what they're treating, but
Old patient. Have I ever heard of from Emery and like if he had any conditions before? Maybe.
No, not to your
Not to your
knowledge.
knowledge.
Not to your
Yeah.
knowledge.
Well, why? He's been fine for years. Well, ever since I've been around him, anyway.
I don't know. Does he cough in his sleep?
No, he seems fine. And I'd say extra fine, and he seems to be always talking about how bored he is. I wish he could just find something else that he can have fun in.
Fun. Well, he can run in circles, and then there's a few wolves he can go play with.
I would like for both of your characters to roll perception, hearing, please.
Perception, hearing. Ooh, I focus on
Perception,
that.
both of you.
Wow, that is a 15. You know what they say, elves got the better ears.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna say that Tirin, your ears perk up and you can hear somebody approaching back from the woods, possibly the coachman.
I kind of put my finger on like Leon's lip, just shh, wait. Can you hear that?
Does he hear any twigs?
Now that he points it out, yes, you can hear somebody coming from the woods. Yes.
Do you think it's a wolf?
No, it's no, maybe I don't know. It's probably maybe a coachman. Just maybe it's a coachman or he's coming. Just do whatever you're doing. I don't think my master would be pleasant having a talk with someone else, or even the coachman.
Well, good luck. He throws a few more leaves at you.
I just take the leaves. I kind of look at them and it's same to you.
And he runs off. Now looking at the shiny cart.
I just hold the leaves in my hand and I start kind of looking at them and I go, so this is how gratitude is like, or being helped. And I just pocket the leaves.
You pocket the leaves.
Yeah.
And we're gonna end the scene right there. Awesome. Cool.